Hello, everyone. Dan Mason here. Let's explore together another issue that is in our current events. All right, Carl. Let's break this down. Because your whole comment is built on half-truths, selective memory, and mockery, instead of substance. You take cheap shots, but when you hold it against scripture and against history, it falls apart. You start by saying that Antifa has one death ever. That is false. Antifa-linked riots have led to multiple deaths, billions in damages, and entire neighborhoods burned out. Ask the families of David Dorn in St. Louis or Aaron J. Danielson in Portland if Antifa violence was a joke. Even when they are not pulling the trigger, their organized chaos has opened the door for murder, looting, and destruction. Pretending that does not count because it does not fit your talking point is dishonest. You then call America a fascist system because you dislike the people in power. That is not how fascism works. Fascism is the merger of government and corporate power to silence opposition. Look at how social media giants and government agencies work together to censor speech, shut down dissenting voices, and label ordinary citizens as threats. That looks more like the definition of fascism than the resist t-shirt revolution you mock. You attempt to distort the Declaration of Independence to support your argument. The Declaration calls for rising against actual tyranny, not for smashing Starbucks windows, firebombing courthouses, or beating people in the street for voting differently. That is not revolution, it is lawlessness. You frame Antifa as somehow being aligned with biblical duty because they resist tyranny. That is blasphemous. Romans 13 is clear that government authority is instituted by God. You do not get to ignore laws and commit violence just because you think you are righteous. Rebellion against order for the sake of chaos is the very spirit of lawlessness described in 2 Thessalonians. You also throw out the idea of the enemy of my enemy is my friend. That is not biblical. Scripture warns against joining hands with evildoers just because you share a common target. Psalm 1 says not to walk in the counsel of the wicked. Antifa is openly atheist, Marxist, and hostile to God. To call them a friend just because they oppose the people you dislike is choosing darkness over light. Carl, why are you so eager to defend a group that hides behind masks, burns down cities, and intimidates people into silence? Why are you not outraged that their violence destroyed small businesses, many of them owned by minorities, in the very communities they claim to fight for? Why are you comfortable excusing blood on their hands but outraged when anyone points out their hypocrisy? If you want to talk about fascism, let's talk about the real thing. Who forces speech codes, censors dissent, locks people out of jobs if they do not parrot the party line, and shuts churches during emergencies while strip clubs and casinos stay open? That is not conservative. That is the very leftist machine Antifa shields with their chaos. So here is the fight you are not ready for. Antifa is not resisting tyranny. Antifa is the foot soldier of tyranny. They soften the ground with chaos so that the state can swoop in with more surveillance, more control, and more excuses for a police state. You defend them, you defend the very system you claim to hate. Please like, subscribe, and leave a comment to support this channel.